So we're talking about a vaccine that was supported by Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Ben Shapiro, 95 out of 100 senators, including 45 Republicans. And the exact stat was 97% effective. Ben Shapiro said it was 97% effective. Never said anything about it being 100% effective. So you're kind of misquoting the stats to kind of strawman the argument. Well, I'm not pro-vaccine mandate or anything like that. I believe in individual liberties. But why is there so much vaccine hesitancy on the conservative side, and how do we get more conservatives to take the vaccine without vaccine mandates?
So let me ask you, what's the most vaccinated state in the country?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Florida?
So, no, it's Vermont. So, and what state has the highest COVID rates?
I assume it's Vermont.
Yeah, so that's kind of starts some hesitancy, doesn't it?
Sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you another question. What's the most vaccinated country in the world?
Not sure.
Israel.
Israel, yeah, okay.
After the third round of boosters, they have some of the highest COVID transmission rates and COVID rates in the world.
Yes, so I think one of the things that you have to do when you're doing a scientific study is compare comparable variables, right? You can't, there's different populations in Vermont and Israel, right, to like a different states.
So Singapore is one of the most vaccinated countries in the world, 84% vaccinated, some of the highest COVID rates. Sure. Same for Gibraltar or other places. So let me tell you what's really happening here. First of all, they changed the definition of what a vaccine is. This is a treatment, and a questionable one at that. Okay? So let me read some. I'm going to read some of the VAERS numbers from you, Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System from you, which is the actual numbers that show adverse events with the vaccine. But before I get to that, what's really unusual, and no one will want to debate me on this, I have an open invite for anyone about this, is that why is it that the most vaccinated countries and states have the highest virus transmission rate? And why is it that third world countries and provinces like Uttar Pradesh in India, a province that has 270 million people, that widely prescribed ivermectin, has 5 to 10 COVID cases a day? Why is it that poor African nations have been able to flatten the curve and turn the corner on the virus, and yet industrialized, wealthy nations like Israel and America haven't? It's because they take anti-malarials with their breakfast food in Central Africa, because malaria is a big issue, and hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin and vitamin D is proven to show and actually be able to heavily impact that. So I suppose a question is, why should we be peddling this vaccine?
Well, you are peddling, again.
I'm curious, answer,
So I'm saying that you're comparing so many different populations. There's so many other variables you're taking into account. And again, if the vaccine is so bad, why is Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, and Ben Shapiro...
That's such a straw man. It's like, I can't disagree with them? I mean, come on. It's like, that's such a ridiculous point. It's like, I love Donald Trump. I respect Ben Shapiro. They're horribly wrong here. Is that the argument?
It's not the argument. I'm just saying that, it's widely supported. It's not just people on the left who are doing this. It's not like a leftist vaccine by any means.
People can be widely wrong about things, totally wrong. We used to think that the Earth was the center of the universe until the heliocentric theory with Galileo. The whole point of science is consideration and the scientific method and testing your thesis and your hypothesis. Right? And so, but let me ask you a question. So I'm just asking you, since when is science a democracy where it's widely expected? I don't care about the percentage. I care about what's right.
Yeah, and I fully agree with what you're saying. I don't think science should be a democracy like that. And I do think there's a lot of issues with the corruption of science. My overall point is just the facts that you put out might be true, but you're also ignoring a lot of other variables in these comparable populations. You can't compare the population of Israel with the population of Uttar Pradesh. How is that?
You're right. Israel has much better health care than Uttar Pradesh. Israel's much wealthier, and Israel has running water and does not have literally 50 million people without toilets. Yes. Yeah. So you're trying to say that, Uttar Pradesh literally has 50 million people without toilets. I would think that COVID would have a more difficult time in that place than Jerusalem. Go ahead.
How are you measuring the cases in Uttar Pradesh? Do they have wide testing available compared to what they have in Israel?
How about this? Deaths. Their deaths are almost nothing from COVID. It's like one thing with testing. It's like if bodies start showing up at the morgue, it's like that's rather universal. And they've totally turned their corner on COVID deaths in India. not to mention Zambia, not to mention Tanzania, not to mention all across Central Africa. And this has been one of the great suppression campaigns, is we're not even allowed to talk about these other countries. Singapore, Gibraltar, that went on mass inoculation campaigns. Austria, one of the most vaccinated countries in the world. You know what they're doing tonight? They're locking down again.
I fully disagree with the lockdowns. I'm not.
No, I know, but the point they're locking down is because the virus is still raging. So in a weird way, the most vaccinated countries actually are doing the worst with this.
And could it be the opposite causation? Like if you're doing the worst with it, you get the vaccine more? Like that's why are you assuming that it's the other way around?
Well,
right?
because Israel's COVID rates were plummeting and going down by 80%. They massively vaccinate and they go spike again. They go down, they massively vaccinate, and they do it again.
So you're saying the vaccine is causing the virus?
I'm asking a question. That's what science is doing.
And I respect the fact that you're asking the question. I'm not disagreeing with you.
But doesn't it make you curious that all
does,
of a sudden
but
we vaccinate more and then rates go up?
You need an actual hypothesis. You can't just...
I guess the question is this. I mean, and you seem like you're asking this in good faith, but you asked the question, like, why are people so skeptical? We're skeptical because at every corner we ask questions and we submit evidence. We're suppressed, maligned. We're told that ivermectin is a horse dewormer, which is insane. We're not even allowed to talk about Regeneron or monoclonal antibodies, not to mention a majority of COVID deaths in the United Kingdom right now are vaccinated people. So it's not even effectively working as a treatment in the United Kingdom. So I could go on and on and on. But yeah, I mean, I think that people are starting to wake up that this thing is not what we were told it was. And not to mention, the VAERS stats, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. So this is why people are skeptical, okay? According to the own government's website, there's been 818,042 adverse events. I want to remind you of something. Raise your hand if you know someone that's had an adverse event to this vaccine. Raise your hand. Look around. You want to know why people are skeptical, my friend? This is why people are skeptical. They're not making that up. They have friends that what? Maybe can't walk. Maybe their dad suddenly dropped dead. Heart attack, got COVID, and died from it. 127,641 doctor's visits, according to VAERS. 83,412 people have been hospitalized after getting the vaccine, according to VAERS. 92,017 people put in urgent care, according to VAERS. This is the government's own website, publicly available, right? 26,199 people disabled after getting the vaccine, according to VAERS. 10,179 people had Bell's palsy, according to VAERS. 10,304 people got myocarditis, according to VAERS. And I could keep on going. 8,408 heart attacks, 2,631 miscarriages, 17,128 deaths. So excuse me while I say it's not what it's being sold. Does that make sense?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.